This is why all AAA studios inevitably die. Now, I'm going to preface this video by saying, yes, I know there are some exceptions to the rule, like technically Nintendo, technically stuff like Capcom, technically. I know there are exceptions, but for the most part, it is in my belief that most AAA studios inevitably fall off or die, in quotation marks. So basically, I want to, let's start off with why I decided to make this video. And that's because there's, so many, YouTube video now. It's almost like a trend to say, oh, gaming's dead now. It's so much worse than it was back in the day. And I just, started thinking, why is that? Why do people, fixate on, why gaming's worse? And then, I just started realizing, it's not that gaming's worse as a whole. It's that their idea of gaming is worse as a whole. Because when you look at gaming objectively now, it is doing better than it ever has. But it's mostly that the companies they liked have fallen off. Let's say, there are, a couple of examples, I can just start out with immediately, bang, Respawn. If you don't know, Respawn Entertainment started out with Titanfall 1. Really good game, really good. Everyone loved it. Then they came back and made one of the best shooters ever, called Titanfall 2. But the problem is, Titanfall 2 did not meet the EA overlords' plans and only sold, I think, 4 to 5 million units. So they basically told Respawn, make a battle royale. So then they had to make Apex. And Apex in its own right is a good game. But it's so much more cash-like. It's kind of more dirty compared to Titanfall. Because Titanfall 2 had no microtransactions. Well, it did, but you didn't have to spend any money. You unlocked everything there. So this is it always feels like there's a point in time. All studios start out indie. Okay, we can all agree. When the first console was created, there was no such thing as AAA. And the thing is, there's almost a point in time when you can tell when a company goes from indie to fully AAA. Or from just a group of people who are really passionate about what they're doing to a company who's focused on making money. And you can look at it as when, in my opinion, they have to bring in new people. So when it becomes AAA, it's no longer a group of friends trying to make a game or something along those lines. It has to become a profitable business. It feels like suddenly all the people making decisions are like Mr. Krabs with dollar signs in their eyes, screaming money, 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 money. So it's not focused on let's make the best game we can. It's what is the most effective strategy to make as most money as possible. And it's very you can basically pinpoint it, right? But what I'm confused about is that people are acting like gaming's on a decline now. But there's always this AAA gaming is on the decline and only indie games are good. And when you really think about it, why do you care if a game is indie or AAA? Sure, AAA has more money and all that, but if a game is good, a game is good. Who cares if it's from a team of 4 people or a team of 2,000? It doesn't matter. So why are you stuck on this idea of that I only play AAA games? That just means you're only playing games from a certain batch of studios. So people are looking at it the games they're playing is the whole of gaming. Instead of, or the whole of gaming is what they're playing. And it's they're Ubisoft, EA, Microsoft, Sony. And I'm just thinking why is it that if you have an indie game, it doesn't do it seems like there's always like kind of an asterisk around indie games. Like, oh my god, this indie game is 10 out of 10, amazing. But there's always an asterisk after. Like, but it's indie. So, like, it's not as good. And it just seems like so archaic. Like, sure, in my opinion, all studios, if they get big enough, will eventually, most of the time, turn out to be like your Ubisoft, like your EAs. But the big difference is, there's always new stuff coming in. Like, why do you call it an indie game? If they're just a new company coming in, making new IP, why does it matter? Like, people are complaining, like, there should be new games companies are making. And, like, the entirety of indie games are all unique and, like, new IPs. Hi, editing Husrin here. Yeah, I realized I wasn't really able to demonstrate my point as well as I hoped. But basically what I'm trying to say here is that why do you care if one studio that made a ton of great games slowly starts to decline when there are always 10 other new studios that are making amazing games? Anyways, back to the video. So it just feels like people are I think people are putting too much weight on the title of AAA and indie. But I'm straying a bit too off topic, but basically my thinking is that most AAA games die, or AAA studios die, because they have to become a profitable business with the more people they bring on. It, like, almost dilutes, like, the passion. Because when you bring on, like, 5 friends making a game, they're all super passionate about gaming, they're probably going to make a good game. But when you have to bring on, like, 20 Joe Schmo, business suit, make as much money as possible, they're going to have some power in the company. They're going to try to, like, make as much money as possible. So, like, there have been very few companies that have found a way to grow while still maintaining that same, like, spirit. But anyways, that's just what I think. I know this is a bit of a ramble video. This isn't scripted. But, like, I'm just gonna end this video out by saying, why do you care if a game is AAA or indie? If a game is good, a game is good. Why is it that Ultra Kill, an indie game, can't be better than Doom Eternal, a AAA game? Why? If, like, that's all I'm gonna say. If I'm just rambling about something stupid, put it down in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. But I don't know. I just felt like it's all, like, all these videos about, like, oh, gaming's dead, gaming's dead. I feel like it's all from, like, people who only play certain companies, who don't want to try new stuff. Because overall, gaming is becoming bigger than ever. Last year even was, like, a really good year for AAA games. It was Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok. Like, what more do you want? I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that's about it. I just, like, feel like since I'm kind of in between, like, I grew up with, like, I would say, like, I grew up with, like, the 3DS, stuff like that. So, like, I think I have a more unique view on it, that gaming is better than ever than, like, most people who are in, like, their 30s, and, like, they're just like, oh, but that's indie, I'm talking about AAA. Then why do you care if it's AAA or not? I know I'm rambling, but that's basically what I gotta say. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all in a better video than this next time. Whoosh.